issues like this and getting ourselves into more trouble.
Speaker Gingrich, as I said, this has caused quite a reaction in the Middle East. The chief Palestinian negotiator, Saeb Erekat, said, "Mark my words, these statements of Gingrich will be the ammunition and weapons of the bin Ladens and the extremists for a long, long time."
How would he know the difference? Let me start, George, simply. Is what I said factually correct? Yes. Is it historically true? Yes. Are we in a situation where every day rockets are fired into Israel while the United States, the current administration, tries to pressure the Israelis into a peace process? Hamas does not admit the right of Israel to exist and says publicly not a single Jew will remain. The Palestinian Authority ambassador to India said last month there is no difference between Fatah and Hamas. We both agree Israel has no right to exist. Somebody ought to have the courage to tell the truth. These people are terrorists. They teach terrorism in their schools. They have textbooks that say if there are 13 Jews and 9 Jews are killed, how many Jews are left? We pay for those textbooks through our aid money. It's fundamentally time for somebody to have the guts to stand up and say, enough lying about the Middle East.
Governor Romney. We just heard the speaker say he's just telling the truth. Do you take any issue with that characterization of the Palestinians as an invented people?
I happen to agree with most of what the speaker said, except by going out and saying the Palestinians are an invented people. That, I think, was a mistake on the speaker's part. I think the speaker would probably suggest that as well. I don't think we want to.
Newt was.
Maybe not. I think we're very wise to stand with our friends, Israel, and not get out ahead of them. This president decided he was going to try and negotiate for Israel by saying, let's go back to the 67 borders. That's not what Israel wanted to hear. Israel does not want us to make it more difficult for them to sit down with the Palestinians. Ultimately, the Palestinians and the Israelis are going to have to agree on how they're going to settle their differences between them.
So
and the United States of America should not jump ahead of Bibi Netanyahu and say something that makes it more difficult for him to do his job. My view is this. We stand with the Israeli people. We link arms with them. If we disagree with them, like this president has time and time again, we don't do it in public like he's done it. We do it in private. And we let the Israeli leadership describe what they believe the right course is going forward. We don't negotiate for the Israeli people. We stand with the Israeli people, stand with our friends, and make it very clear. We're going to tell the truth, but we're not going to throw incendiary words into a place which is a boiling pot when our friends, the Israelis, would probably say, what in the world are you doing?
So there you have it, Mr. Speaker. He says this is going to make life more difficult for the Israelis.
The Israelis are getting rocketed every day. We're not making life more difficult. The Obama administration is making life more difficult. The fact is, the Palestinian claim to a right of return is based on a historically false story. Somebody ought to have the courage to go all the way back to the 1921 League of Nations mandate for a Jewish homeland, point out the context in which Israel came into existence, and Palestinian did not become a common term until after 1977. This is a propaganda war in which our side refuses to engage, and we refuse to tell the truth while the other side lies, and you're not going to win in the long run if you're afraid to stand firm and stand for the truth.
Of course you stand firm and stand for the truth, but you don't speak for Israel.
I did.
If Bibi Netanyahu wants to say what you said, let him say it. But our ally, the people of Israel, should be able to take their own positions and not have us negotiate for them.
I want to turn, if I can,
Can I just say one last thing? Because I didn't speak for the people of Israel. I spoke as a historian who has looked at the world stage for a very long time. I've known Bibi since 1984. I feel quite confident an amazing number of Israelis found it nice to have an American tell the truth about the war they are in the middle of and the casualties they're taking and the people who surround them who say you do not have the right to exist and we want to destroy you.
I've known Bibi. I've also known Bibi Netanyahu for a long time. We worked together at Boston Consulting Group. And the last thing Bibi Netanyahu needs to have is not just a person who's an historian, but somebody who is also running for president of the United States. Stand up and say things that create extraordinary tumult in his neighborhood. And if I'm president of the United States, I will exercise sobriety, care, stability, and make sure that in a setting like this, anything I say that can affect a place with rockets going in, with people dying, I don't do anything that would harm that process. And therefore, before I made a statement of that nature, I get on the phone to my friend Bibi Netanyahu. and say, would it help if I said this? What would you like me to do? Let's work together because we're partners. I'm not a bomb thrower, rhetorically or literally.
Under the rules, we need to let you respond.
I think sometimes it is helpful to have a president of the United States with the courage to tell the truth, just as it was Ronald Reagan, who went around his entire national security apparatus to call the Soviet Union an evil empire, and who overruled his entire State Department in order to say, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Reagan believed the power of truth restated the world and reframed the world. I'm a Reaganite. I'm proud to be a Reaganite. I will tell the truth, even if it's at the risk of causing some confusion sometimes with the timid.
I think it's important to get everybody in on this. Who's got the better of this?